Daily COVID-19 testing numbers in the capital have surged, but it's not just the addition of new exposure sites increasing pressure on clinics, with the prospect of travel increasing demand. For those with Wanderlust, the message yesterday was clear: tests would not be free.
We don't currently have any intention of providing a free service for people who are not being asked to go and get tested.
Overnight, a social media spat played out between the Queensland Premier and Greg Hunt over a Commonwealth commitment to fund PCR tests required to enter the state.
Continuity, shared arrangements, Commonwealth and state, that was threatened for a couple of days by the Queensland Premier. Fortunately, they've accepted that we continue with the 50-50 payments.
Prompting this change in tune from Rachel Stephen-Smith.
There will be no cost to individuals who undergo a COVID-19 PCR test at an ACT government testing clinic for the purposes of domestic travel if a printed certificate is not required.
Canberrans expressed their frustration on Facebook.
I thought this had been a bit ridiculous since me and my husband are both double vaccinated.
This would have been useful to know before people paid to go to SA.
The Health Minister blames her federal counterpart.
I can only answer questions and provide advice on the basis of the advice that I'm given myself. Greg Hunt's announcement came very late yesterday, well after question time.
The opposition says she's simply not across her brief.
I don't know why or how we have got to a position where the Health Minister thinks it's okay to charge people for tests that we have agreed with the federal government will be 50-50 funded by federal and state governments.
Certificates will still cost $112. No state or territory is asking for proof beyond a text message at this stage, though just where travel requires testing is more complicated. New South Wales and Victoria don't ask travellers from the ACT to have been tested. However, Queensland and Western Australia have strict quarantines for those allowed to enter the states, as does Tasmania, but from December 15, those will be dropped for eligible vaccinated travellers, though Canberrans will still need to have a negative test up to 72 hours prior to arrival. South Australia also requires travellers from the ACT to have had a negative test within a 3-day period before arriving in the state. So too does the Northern Territory, which also requires 7 days of home quarantine, though from 20 December the isolation requirement will be dropped for the vaccinated, but they'll need to have a rapid antigen test on arrival. And while that can all be confusing, the Minister is promising consistency in future.
Everybody's on the same page now, and we've seen these blips as we've gone through the pandemic, and everyone comes back together and continues to work to address the impact of the pandemic.
Refunds for those charged for tests will be assessed on a case-by-case basis. Harry Frost, ABC News, Canberra.